Right, so we should be looking at my phone right now. And on here, again, it looks slightly different to most people's phones because the kind of big draw of what's it called? Android in general versus iPad is that it's a lot more customizable. You can change things around a lot more. With the iPad, it has less options of changing things around. But anyway, the point is that it's similar to the App Store on the Android phones. There's this app called the Play Store, and it's marked by the white box with the triangle symbol in there. That is this one. That's the symbol, if you just saw that. And so similar to the App Store, when you open the Play Store, it opens on this kind of home page, which has different suggested applications. You can see here it says suggested for you, health and fitness, tools and utilities. So you can scroll through this and have a look at which apps that they suggest. Okay. So let's just say, for argument's sake, we'll use the same example. So at the top, it says search for apps and games. So I tap on that there. And then I might want to type in Skype. And similar to on the iPad, you can see that underneath where I've typed in Skype, it's got some suggestions of what I might be looking for. So I'm going to look for the same one, Skype for Business. So I'm going to tap on that. Okay. And here, again, similar to on the iPad, it looks a bit different, but let's just have a look at each of these. So each of these has what we're looking at here. Each of these has, I can't figure out how to draw on this one. Each of these has a icon, the name, and then on the so this one, actually some of them don't have the install button. I think only the first one does. But anyway, if I tap on the name of the app, then you can see that comes up with all the pictures to give you an indication of what the app is for. You can tap on any of the pictures and see them in full size. And at the top left of the screen, there's a left arrow, and I tap on that to go back. There's some description about it. There's ratings and reviews. So in that sense, the layout in this is different, but it has a lot of the similar things that the App Store does. So from here, if I wanted to install this application, I click on install. And then again, you can see that there is the round circle, the circle going around the logo there, which indicates how much it's completed in downloading and installing this app. And there's the cancel button there, which allows me to stop this app from being installed. So I'll just wait for this to finish installing. And how quickly it downloads is depending on how fast your internet is. So if you have slow internet, it's going to download slowly. So now it's finished installing, and you can see there's the uninstall button, which is the same as deleting the app on the iPhone. And there's the open button. So I click open, and it will actually open this application on my phone. And then I can use Skype, which is, again, as I said, it's a thing. So actually, what you'll see on Android, I just skipped through some of these, but this is actually important to know, is that it asks for permission to use different things on your phone. So, for example, Skype is for calling, so it needs to record audio to be able to do that. It needs to be able to access the microphone. So it says here, will you allow Skype for Business to record audio to access the microphone? And you can either click allow or deny. So I'll click allow. And it had a couple of other ones there, like you want it to access your camera and your contacts, and it also comes up with this. So that screen in particular is not too important, but it's important to know that on Android, a big difference is that you need to specifically allow it to be able to use certain features like your camera or your microphone or the sound or anything like that. So again, on Android, how do you actually find your apps and all of that? So it's very different on Android because you have your home screen, which again, you can style it and customize it to look whatever you want it to. you can see here that I've got a keyboard automatically on mine so that I can easily, for example, type in Skype and it will come up with the Skype application. Most people's won't look like this. Most people's won't have the keyboard there, but everything else will probably be the same. That you'll have a clock, you'll have some apps, you might have a calendar and some notes and all of this sort of thing. So what's important to know here is that, again, this is called the home screen, and you can have multiple home screens with what they call widgets. We're not going to focus on those because we're looking at apps right now. So if I have a look in the bottom row, you can see that there's the phone symbol, the message symbol, the app symbol, the Chrome symbol, and the camera symbol right at the bottom there, and that stays there. That's your sort of quick launch toolbar. So those apps are the ones that you use most often. So for example, I call people very often, so I'll click on call. If I open Chrome or if I use my camera very often, then I'll keep it there so I can easily access it. Now, the one in the middle is the white circle with the dots, and this most Android phones will have, which is it opens the app screen, which has all of the apps on there. So this is one sort of big folder that has all of the apps that you have on your phone on here. Now I have quite a lot of apps on this phone, so you know, some of them are bigger and some of them are smaller. I have a big phone, so I can install lots of apps. And the point is that this is organized from A to Z. And even before A, it's all the numbers. So at the top you have A, at the bottom you have Z. So Zoom is right at the bottom there because it's Z. And then from here you can click on any application and it will open that thing. So let's say, for example, we go to gallery, or no, let's say maps, for example. I click on maps and then it will open the maps application and it will tell me where I am. And then what I just did there, actually, in fact, let's just go back to that. What I just did there is along the bottom, there's three sort of buttons there in the white section. The middle one is the home button, similar to what you have on the iPad, but it's actually on the screen. So I click on that home button and it brings me back to this home screen. Okay, and if we go back to the idea of managing apps on here, again, Angie, this might work quite differently to yours because my phone is set up completely differently. But let's say I wanted to put, you know, Spotify and music together in a folder, then I just drag Spotify on top of music, and then they go into a folder together. And if I tap on that folder, I can see what's in the folder. And then right at the bottom there, it says unnamed folder. So if I tap there, then it gives me the option to put a name there. So I can say this is audio, for example.
Well, what about if I want to change, if I don't have two apps in the one folder, I've just got the one app and I want to change the name of that one app?
You can't change the name of the app. I think.
No, sorry, not the app. I want to change the title I've given it of one app, not a group of apps.
You can't change the title of one single app. The title of the app is determined by the creator of the app.
Right, so I have to either put that app with another app and then change that name with the group app.
Yeah, or you know, let's say, for example, I've got this folder with Samsung and Spotify, and then if I move Spotify outside of that, back there, you can see it removes the folders. So if you can't have one app by itself, you know, in a folder. So
I've got it. No, sorry. Yeah, I've worked it out. I've got you. Okay.
Yeah. So you can't change the name of an app. That's a really good point that you brought up there.
Sorry, it was my fault. I didn't mean that, but I meant the name of a folder.
Okay.
With an app inside.
Yeah.
So I've done it now.
Glad to hear that you've done that. Yeah. So let's have a look at what we looked at on the iPad as well, which is how to delete an app. So let's just say I want to delete the. Well, I'm not going to delete any of those because those are useful. Let's say I don't want to delete this. Let's say, well, that Skype app actually. So we've got this Skype for Business app. It's on the top, on the right hand side there, with the blue and white symbol. So if I hold my finger down on that, and then at the bottom there it says uninstall. And you can see when I put the app on top of where it says uninstall, it will turn red, and the uninstall symbol will also turn red. And I let go of it, and it says here, do you want to uninstall this app? And I click OK. So you can see that even though the process is slightly different, you know, in terms of where I click and how I click, you know, that it's actually not too different between Android and iPhone. In both cases, you have to go to some store to find the apps. You have to choose which app you want to get. You have to click install or buy to actually get it onto your device. And then once you've got it on your device, it's going to be somewhere in a list of all of the apps. And then from here, you can then move it, you can manage it. You can, let's say I wanted to put YouTube onto the main, or Zoom onto the main screen. So I hold my finger down and I drag it onto the home screen. And even here, you can see there's still a grid that the apps follow. Okay, so this is then the sort of the understanding of how to install, delete, and move apps on Android.